Hello and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we go over this movie, Starship Troopers, 1 minute at a time. I'm your host, Johann.
And I'm your other host, Matthew.
And today we will be going over minute 87. It starts with Razchek telling Rico, "This place crawls," and ends with a hole in the head.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, not head like a hole like the song of Nine Inch Nails. It's a hole in a head. So...
yeah, an actual physical hole in a head.
yeah, well, no, okay. I was thinking head like a hole is not an actual physical hole, but hey man, nice shot is an actual physical hole in the head. But, interesting fact, Robert Fitzpatrick, is it? Yeah, it's Robert Fitzpatrick, the singer for Filter, was the guitar player of Nine Inch Nails. So he was actually there for those songs. So he made two songs about one being a figurative hole in the head, the other one being a literal hole in the head. It's just not always an everyday achievement for somebody to make two good songs like that.
No, for sure, man.
Yeah. Is it Robert Fitzpatrick? I gotta look this up. Because I know his brother's the actor with also the last name Fitzpatrick.
Tune in next time for 9 Inch Nails Minute. Where
Nope.
we go over each song 1 minute at a time.
Nope, Robert Fitzpatrick is a pyramid scheme. Alright, let's go. Lead singer of Filter. Richard Patrick.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Still what they are.
Yeah. He's an amazing musician, though.
Yeah, not too bad. You know, that's a weird thing, too. I just noticed this the other day. I haven't been that much into music recently.
No, it's all about podcasts recently. Every
Yeah,
once
right?
every once in a while, I'm like, all right, I want to listen to music for 30 minutes.
And then, like, the thing is, I did, like, maybe about a month ago. And you know what I put on? I put on Elton John radio.
That's not bad.
No, it wasn't. And that was the thing. It went through, like, you know, the 70s, the 80s, and today and everything like that. But it was all, like, poppy, feel-good songs. But even still, like, I don't know what's going crazy with the kids right now. I mean, I know, like, some Freddie Wap or, you know, Post Malone stuff that's going on and everything, but I don't listen to it.
Yeah, screw both of them. I don't like either one.
Post Malone is makes me feel like, looking the way I look, I can achieve something.
Yeah, if there's anything like that gives you the feeling like, God, if someone like that could be achieving anything in the world, I should be successful.
Well, I mean, he also apparently has, like, some sick, you know, rap game as well, too. But, I mean, I don't have anything like that. So, wham for me.
Yeah, but the hot goss is the fact that he said something on Twitter to upset a lot of his listeners. So, apparently he lost a following on that.
You say, like, one thing, you say another, you're going to lose, like, 30 to... It's either going to be you're losing this many or you're going to be losing a lot of many kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows? You can't please everyone.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But I was listening to a lot of Metric.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Metric and this band called Freeze Pop.
He's from, that's a Harmonix fame, isn't it?
No, it's not a Harmonix group.
I thought it was.
There's synth pop out.
Yeah, but no, I thought it was Harmonix from Rock Band or the original Guitar Hero.
I don't know if they were in their Freeze Pop and Guitar Hero.
Yeah, the very first Guitar Hero was a Red Octane and I think Harmonix joint, and then Harmonix went on their own to create Rock Band.
Oh yeah, there it is. Guitar Hero, Freeze Pop. Less talk, more rock.
Yep, that's what it was.
All right. Yeah, I never played Guitar Hero, so
it was a damn good game.
Yeah, I don't like those Harmonix games.
Well, I mean, you liked... that really wasn't a Harmonix, but I mean, DJ Hero was...
Yeah, but it had...
kind of that thing.
Yeah, but I got DJ Hero specifically because of the mashups and because of Daft Punk, not necessarily for the gameplay.
Yeah, it was not a very good game, but I mean, it was a fun thing, though.
Yeah, it was. The music was good.
Yeah, I mean, even still today, I'll listen to Dizzy Rascal and Justice mashup all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And my wife loves that song, too.
But
Dizzy Rascal, anyway.
The one song that I was listening to a lot is Freeze Pop's Plastic Stars. Such a good song.
Haven't heard that one. I'll probably listen to it after this recording, actually.
Alrighty.
But let's diverge and get into our minute then.
Oh, so we're going off. So we're tangenting off to talk about Starship Troopers.
I mean, we got to. I mean, we're not doing our let's bull talk, for an hour-long podcast every single week. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. All right. So this movie,
right, dude, we're almost 90 minutes in. I mean, I feel it.
Yeah. So, real quick, there's no script part to this just yet. But there are some good points to this minute, though, that after watching it, you're just like, oh, yeah, that's when this gets introduced here.
Mm-hmm.
So, first off, it's Ratchik giving the order to Rico to get the comms up. Because obviously that's a problem now.
Yeah, Gillespie wasn't able to get in contact with them, and pretty sure, I mean, with all the dead people and the dead bugs, they probably knocked out their comms.
See, here's the thing that I notice about, well, we all know Ratchik is an amazing commander. He's a great XO. Not commander as in rank, but just to command the platoon. He knew what they were getting into based on that deleted scene where he was saying that this is a trap. So he needs the comms up, one, so he knows. Remember, they were saying like it's probably a fake signal, blah blah blah, it's a trap. So without even testing equipment, he already knows it's screwed up because he knew nobody is sending a message out except the bugs, because he had that theory.
Yeah, and also at the last minute too, I also liked how he silently, sent people up to check it out first, and then brought the rest of the people in as well too, kind of like silently as well too, instead of like, hey guys, there's the outpost, let's go in.
Yeah.
Like he knew something was going on.
Yeah, he knew they were walking into a trap. So he's already setting up the orders without telling everybody that they're heading into a trap. Because he tells them get the comms up, which nobody's established that the comms are down yet.
I think he's just assuming that they're down just because of Gillespie and whatnot.
Exactly. And remember Gillespie singing like he can't get a hold of him, and he originally had the idea that no one's going to be receiving that signal.
Well, see, that's the thing though too. Like, I'm wondering what kind of radio transmission. I mean, it's not. I don't know if it's actual radio frequency, like low band, or like radio frequency. What are they using? Are they using like satellite technology or what have you? I mean, their radio packs do look like it's old, radio technology, but even still, that may be disrupted by whatever, man. Nuclear fallout, nuclear fusion, especially if they're using nukes all the time. I mean, you know what happens when they detonate nukes up in the atmosphere? That's
yeah, but
electronic interference.
Even if you're using an AM receiver with the canyon that's in there, the reception should stay within there.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, it bounces off the atmosphere and comes back down.
No,
so what kind of
AM has shortwave, so it doesn't go over the mountains as easily.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it should have bounced back to him with an AM receiver, which I'm assuming their comms guy is probably feeling through like everything to try and see if there's a signal back.
Yeah, like, oh, maybe they're using, because that's the thing too. Like, I hate to come back to this, but I haven't in a while. Star Trek, they don't use AM FM, but in a couple episodes, especially of like Voyager or something, they're like, oh yeah, this planet is using old frequency radio in this band, in the low bands, instead of like subspace, those primitive little medics.
Yeah, so I'm assuming
kind of things.
So I can assume that they could try and send a signal in like almost any other way. And if you're in a canyon, other than using using the satellites, you could use AM and still detect something. Because he didn't even hear a distress signal. So he should have at least heard a ping. So he knew that it was down. I kind of starting to think that maybe Gillespie was a sacrifice that he knew he would have to give up.
I mean, he's going to give up his corporal? All right.
Well, you're not going to ask someone to stand in a high ground.
I'm sorry, sergeant, yeah.
Or yeah, he's not going to ask somebody to stand on high ground for bait unless there's a reason why.
Yeah.
So maybe he was assuming that his head would have gotten cut off. Which is true with the hoppers.
Yeah, and it would have kept that radio.
Yeah. So it's a calculated risk, and it was a risky move. And then the second thing that he's saying about why to get the comms up is he's saying this place crawls, so he knows there's bugs.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I think that's kind of evident too with the dead bodies. They didn't drop dead or anything like that and have their innards explode.
Yeah, but he's not assuming that the bugs moved around.
Oh,
he's
no,
assuming the bugs are there.
Around. Yeah. So one thing that bugs me about this movie, I don't know if we established that little pun yet.
Yeah, we have.
Okay. But one thing that kind of messes with me, and especially when I watched this originally as well too in the movie theater, the grouping on the bullets inside the outpost are kind of weird.
On the inside?
So, like, I'm at 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 17 seconds with Rico and the whole entire group walking into the outpost. And on the left-hand side, you see a grouping of bullet holes, basically, and they're all in straight lines.
You are right.
That's, I mean, I don't know, like, if they're that accurate, if they're, like, firing that erratically that they would hit the outpost, I think they would be a little more spread out than that. Not only that, but there wouldn't be, like, as many bullet holes that close together if, again, they were erratic.
Well, here's the thing that I'm noticing also, is the holes are surrounded with black.
So they're firing out? Oh.
Yeah, and they were at close range. So there was probably stuff crawling on the outside.
Okay, well, even still, that makes a little more sense. But even still, like, I don't know, like just having straight lines like that, you know, when you're, I don't know.
Yeah, but when you have the burn marks, that means they were particularly close to that object. So that's how they're able to get their, what's it called, the grouping that quick. So maybe they were following, quote unquote, like bug feet on the other side that they may have been hearing.
Well, you just fixed that whole entire theory for me since I was watching this movie when I was little. Thank you. I didn't notice that.
I've seen enough, like, what's it called? Well, there's Castle. They talk about, like, the GSW or gunshot wounds. You know, they always say, like, it's always that thing, like, was it a suicide? It's like, no, because there was no burn marks. I'm like, oh, okay. So those things always, like, stand out to me now. So, but backtrack real quick. When Rico tells Diz to check out the comms, one thing I never noticed back then, she just goes through a different door.
Yeah, and they do.
I was always wondering, like, how the hell did she show up over there? And I never noticed it now. It's like, oh, God, she goes through a different door. Like, God, that answers so much.
Right?
I just felt like just a dumbass, just, like, noticing it now. I'm just like, oh, God. It used to bug me so much, and the answer was so simple. 2 doors.
Yeah. Well, and also, yeah, this place is connected, too, so.
Yeah. But I thought she, like, in my mind, she was walking behind him and just walked off, and then all of a sudden she's, like, right there. I was like, wait, I never saw her. And then now it's just like, oh, Jesus, there's another door. How simple is that answer? So also I noticed these racks that are in right here at the one that you're pointing out, 2617. I used to see them everywhere in the 90s.
Yeah, that was a thing too. Like they would put like water bottles or like any kind of cylindrical things in those to make them kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, and you can see through them, so you can put like plants and stuff like that. No matter what, you have an outdoor show. Yeah, I was just remembering, like, oh man, I saw a bunch of these back then.
It does kind of date it for the 90s, unfortunately.
Yeah. So right about here at 2621, they're starting to move over towards the what's it called? The what is that called?
Mess.
Yeah, the mess hall. Jesus.
Well, I mean, it is a mess.
Yeah, a messy mess.
Yes.
So accurate with 2 words that are almost the same. So I do see more of those punched holes, or the bullet holes. But there's one like kind of close to where Ace is and where that upturned table is with all the blood.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they put they're trying to put the tables up to the wall, maybe, to try and secure it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because you see the gunshot wound, but where the hole is, it's punched from the outside in. So something was trying to get in. So I think that's where they started shooting.
Yeah.
So we didn't see that before. So maybe everybody was distracted by the wall. That's where the hole in this mess hall comes in.
Yeah.
So while they were sitting there staring at a wall, everybody or the bugs start coming in and start attacking them from behind.
So I have a question for you about the scene as well too, because I'm stopped at again 1 hour 26 minutes and 21 seconds. How many real actors do you think are in this pile of dead bodies?
1, 2, 3. 3.
I say 3 as well.
Yeah, there's a guy leaning up against a wall.
Who kind of just looks like he's just chilling out.
Yeah, there's a girl down here that has a Marita right next to the table. And in the back with his head leaning up against him, kind of right behind Ace. Not the one with his left arm on the chair, but there's like a guy just leaning up against it.
Those are the exact 3 that I was thinking of too.
Yeah, because the other ones have a more grayish skin tone.
That, and also I think their outfits are a little more clean as well too. Like the girl's outfit is pretty clean. The dude's outfit, besides his bloody face, is clean, and you can't see a thing with the other dude in there. But yeah, you can definitely tell that their skin tone is a little
More
has
fleshy.
a little more color.
Yeah.
They look like they died recently, or they're still alive.
Yeah. So, but then it's just looking at the mannequins; they're all kind of grayish, and the others aren't. And then the other ones
a lot
are
more whiter. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other ones are bending the way humans don't. So.
Man, I've never stopped it at this minute or at this particular second and looked at all the carnage. I mean, there's just a head with a helmet on it, just chilling out.
Yeah,
like if you look directly from where Rico is standing all the way down, yeah, that head is just chilling out right there.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of bisection again here. There's like half a body hanging over the hole. To the right of it is, I don't know what that is. I don't know what part of the body that looks like it could be, but it's only half of it.
You mean the one where Rastek is looking down into the hole?
No. Right by 2621, there's like a body right next to the dismembered leg of the bug.
Ah, okay.
Like bottom center. I don't know what part of that body it is.
I don't know either. That just looks like some. So it looks like another. There's another boot right there, but that looks like some armor right where the foot is being covered up or the leg is being covered up.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure.
Who knows?
So
man, this place is a mess.
Yep. Looks like they got them during Chow.
They did, yeah. Unfortunately, the bugs came up through a hole. So again, this is a pretty known thing that bugs can dig. So I'm not sure why, if they're gonna make an outpost, why they have such a thin sheet of metal covering their outpost, and then just decide, oh, they're not gonna be able to dig in.
Yeah. So one of the things I noticed about this scene, also, I'm not sure whose choice this was. But Ace seems to be the most unjaded among them. Like he's like, ugh, like this is gross. Everybody's just walking through like, let's see what we can find out about this area.
Yeah.
So it just makes him a little bit more human. And I think that's kind of the aspect that he brings here, because everybody starts to mature in such a way. But then Ace still seems to be the most grounded.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be that hardened kind of grunt, like that career grunt dude. He's got I'm guessing he grew up from his boot camp days, and he's more of a just say like, yeah, I've seen this before. Come on.
No, I mean, he's still more attached to it, because if some of them, they just walk through the carnage and not care about it, but he's actually making observations of the carnage and not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
So I think he's just the more human aspect of this scene. And I think like later on, he's actually just more human. than Rico becomes.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Because especially when Rico inherits the Roughnecks, he starts to become the if you stop fighting, I'll kill you myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that falls into the footsteps of how Razchek was running his crew, and he's a battle-hardened veteran.
Yeah.
So you can just see Rico's going to end up becoming that. But later on, Jake, he still kind of adds the comedic aspects to it, but he's also still just very human in his decisions. So I think that's kind of him at this point. Because Carmen isn't that. Diz, she's a romantic...
I'm sorry, who?
Some chick.
Oh, okay.
But Diz, she's the romantic interest, so she's the heart of it. But it's just Jake is the human aspect, or Ace, Jake PC.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I've never not liked him, but these are the scenes that make me appreciate the character more, just realizing how much depth there is to him.
Yeah, my initial, run of this movie, I didn't like him at all in the movie. I was just like, he's kind of a jerk, all the way through. But it was just the whole entire, I never got out of thinking of him out of that boot camp, Ace dude.
Yeah, so these are the scenes that make me appreciate him a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the old, well, you still got me to kick around, Ace. That, especially when we went over that, changed it heavily for me.
Yeah. All right, so let's keep going. They see the bug hole there. So this is the second warrior bug they've noticed. And then they also see the, what's it called? The soldier at the bottom here.
Mm-hmm.
That one's definitely a mannequin.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's just, I don't know, some parts of it are just too stiff looking.
And they're in a certain way where, those joints are kind of not the way a body should bend, so it looks kind of unnatural, even if they are dead or they did get ragdolled a little bit. A body lays a certain way, and a certain way does look unnatural,
Yeah. So these are good aspects of the movie, is knowing how they tunnel, because unlike the other ones, it felt like you were standing on top of their anthill. But now when you build a base, this means that they're expanding the anthill to take over your territory.
Yeah, they're looking like they have strategy now, how they just came up, and they're starting to look like not dumb bugs.
Yeah, so this does definitely show intelligence among the bugs.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is a surprise to Razchek now. I don't know if it's a surprise to him, but it's a surprise to a lot of other people, because he probably did see this during the first bug war and, Port Joe Smith and everything. He probably did see a few, hints of possibly collective intelligence or something,
Yeah. So,
but this is a new aspect for a lot of other people.
Yeah. So we're at 2635, where Diz comes back. Definitely seems a little bit unnerved about what she discovered. But gotta point out, the extra that's in the back, good trigger discipline.
Yeah, good on him, man.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed too.
He's resting the rifle like he should, taking a lot of the weight off him, especially if they're in close quarters. Mm-hmm. But also no forefinger on any of the triggers. And I say that because there's two.
Yes, and also he's also pointing it up as well, too, away from anyone. You don't point a barrel where you don't intend to kill or shoot. Yeah. So good on him.
Well, generally you want to point it at the ground, ish, not directly down. But this seems to be the safest portion, because you don't want to shoot it up in the air because it's bound to come down. Your best chances is if you have an accidental discharge, it buries itself into the ground, or kind of, well, you just try and keep it as safe as possible. That's just it.
Yeah.
You make sure you treat it like it's always loaded, so you make sure it's not as best as you can. Put dummy round in it to block the chamber, etc. But anyways, this is still good trigger discipline. So I'm assuming this person either knew what he was doing, went through training. Maybe he's an actual stunt person, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to point out too, like at the very beginning of the movie, but I'll point it out now. They actually did have a military liaison person on staff, and he actually is in the movie too. I don't know if you know him, Dale Dye,
Dale
or heard of
Dye?
him. Yeah, he's in a lot of movies actually. He's pretty good, but he's also like a military um I, I don't want to say liaison because that's kind of a not the right word. Military expert, I guess. So like they would come to him for things about military and like are we doing it right? Are we doing it correctly? And he would be
Oh,
like, "Oh yeah, sure."
yeah. I know of this guy. He's
Yeah.
in like a lot of good movies.
Yes, he is.
But I notice it's a lot of war movies too.
Yes, so I remember him from oh gosh, I think he was in Band of Brothers actually.
Was he?
Let me see real quick because I think he was um a lieutenant or a major of Easy Company.
See, I remember him from Falling Skies.
Oh, okay.
It was a good show. I liked it.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, he was in Saving Private Ryan. He was a War Department colonel.
and he plays a firearms instructor on Entourage.
Yes.
So this probably shows that yes, he probably taught the extras to do this. So that's awesome. He was in Chuck. Oh, he was. Oh man, he was in Chuck. That's a great show. You ever seen that show?
Yeah, I did.
It's amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, so he is in Band of Brothers. He plays Colonel Sink. And I love him because he does have that kind of southern accent. And in I think the second episode of Band of Brothers, one of the privates pretend to use his voice to get their company moving along. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, what is the problem, Captain Sobel? Kind of thing.
Okay, so he was also in a narrator for Medal of Honor, the video game, which is super fun.
Yeah, Allied Assault, actually. Allied Assault was one of the best ones.
Yeah, Moha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play it on GameSpy.
Oh, yeah.
So, wow, this guy has an extensive background for, like, acting.
Yeah, as I said, man, he's done a lot of stuff. And mostly he's, like, a military expert, making sure things are... Like, you think of him like R. Lee Ermey as well, too. R. Lee Ermey was kind of the same way after Full Metal Jacket, where he would come on to sets and make sure everything was working okay, but he would also act a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. So, this is awesome. Good for him.
I actually did like him in the latest movie I did see him in, which was in The Purge Anarchy.
I haven't seen any of the Purge movies, but I've always been curious.
The first one is contained and it's okay. The second one is kind of good.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear that the second one is good.
The third one is hit or miss because it's all kind of weird and political. And this next one is really, 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 really political. Like, hit this. I think it's almost toilet flush kind of thing. Well, the fourth one hasn't even come out yet, but the teaser poster came out for it. And it's called The First Purge.
Yeah.
And it has like a red hat, kind of like the manga hats a little bit. And I think that's a little toilet flushy right there.
Nah.
Not saying, I agree with everything, about the current administration or anything, but I just think that is a really cheap shot and kind of, trying to drum up some kind of like weird publicity for your movie.
Yeah. I don't know. But I'm just interested because of its take.
Oh, so. Yeah. I mean, it's a weird freaking take. I mean, it's a super interesting movie. And I mean, if you like, I'd love to do like a one-off episode just talking about like one of the Purge movies with you as well too. That's just such an interesting little saga thing. It's a dumb kind of scary movie, like with like jump scares and like body horror and everything like that. Oh, not body horror, but more like psychological and scary, like, oh, are we really going to do this kind of, violence to people who in the normal times we're okay with, but now because it's, free reign, let's go kill them kind of thing.
Okay. All right. So let's move on just a little bit here.
Yeah, so everyone else moves out to follow Dizzy, but Rico sees something, and he stays behind because he sees something under a table.
Yeah, because this is actually the first time they see this bug on screen.
Yes.
It's always been mentioned in the script, but it's just one of those to tie in that there's more than one bug at this point.
Mm-hmm. And this is not in the beginning of the movie, this is not the same beetle. A lot of people do think it is, but it is definitely different. There are differences from the Arcarian sand beetle, and this is the chariot bug.
So, next scene is where they're actually in the comms room here.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw these shelves ever in real life, but they seem actually very impractical because you'd use the least amount of space because it's in triangles.
Yeah, I also noticed that a little bit too, and it made me think of the recent sci-fi version of the recent sci-fi series Battlestar Galactica, where every single sheet of paper, everything square was actually cut off on the corners to make it more of a octagon kind of thing.
Yeah. But this one is weird because a lot of the stuff they're storing in it is cylindrical.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna lose a lot of space in there.
Yeah. And then you do it in a triangle, so you lose a lot of space when it comes towards the corners.
And is it just me, or do these shelves look really, really like banged up as well?
Oh no, they're super banged up.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if that's like, oh, is that supposed to be how they look? Because I'd return that stuff to IKEA right quick.
Yeah, but when you're stuck on this planet, the nearest IKEA hasn't reached that far.
Dude, the nearest IKEA to me is freaking far.
Yeah.
I don't know about freaking, Planet P.
Yeah. So they were probably just like, man, well, we can't return it.
You gotta just bang it out and make sure it works okay, I guess. Let's do what we need to do.
Yeah, because, the return policy, if, we bought it, interstellar travel, going back, it's just going to not match up with the return policy, and we can't go it wasn't until we reached Planet P, So.
Yeah, well, you should have seen it or checked it before you left the planet, because now, by the time you got to the planet, you were already 15 days after the return policy. So, yeah, you're screwed, dude.
So you get to, whoever's in charge of procurement, someone that has to check the inventory list when they arrive, you get it, you make sure that everything is okay. I have this item here, I have that item there. Should have made sure that box looked fine, because I'm pretty sure the box was banged up just a little bit.
Yeah.
So whoever was in charge of procurement, this is your fault.
Yep. But Razchik, he pulls up a dead dude, we're assuming, and takes a look at the top of his head. And says, "What does that look like to you, Rico?"
Lice. No.
Oh, gosh. He didn't get checked. You always get checked before you step off or, go to a new place, You need to.
I'm just thinking that right at the end of this minute, this has to be our screen cap for the episode. That gross face, this looks gross.
Yeah, screen and print.
But everybody seems to be grossed out about what's going on with this dude's head.
It kind of looks real. Again, I don't know if you have, but I definitely have seen brains. Not human brain. I don't know, maybe human brains. But I've seen, a deli, cow brain or something like that. And, you can definitely see movies where they use, what is it, deli brain mixed with blood and everything to make it look real. Brain has a certain texture to it. It's, lumpy. It comes apart kind of easily a little bit, but it's always that chunky little thing with a little bit of viscera in it as well too.
Yeah.
And this hole.
Well, we don't get to see the hole till later. next
No,
episode.
This is it right here.
Oh, we're stopping at 59, correct?
Yeah, 126.59 is where we see the hole.
Oh, okay. It's just like
He doesn't-
right before the hole.
Yeah.
Actually, okay. So we're going over that. All right. All right. So it kind of looks like, trying to think of what they could have used to make the brain. Because it looks like pieces of popcorn
Mm-hmm.
mixed with like strawberry jelly.
See, what I can think of, the easiest thing for me to think of would be possibly, as you just said right now, kind of packing popcorn.
Yeah. Or cheese curds.
Oh gosh, that would be perfect, actually. Yeah, cheese curds
Yeah.
and like a mix of strawberry jelly and the whole entire blood or whatever kind of blood effects they have on tap. They're not using the normal corn syrup and red dye that they used in like Evil Dead that like froze and got really gross all the time.
Yeah. But here was the thing, like when you see the screenshot from behind before the whole reveal, it made me think at first, is this a real person's head or a fake? But this one obviously means it's fake.
Yeah.
But the part where I thought it was real was, that's a good haircut.
Yeah, it's got not a bad haircut. You know, except for the giant hole in his head.
Yeah, well, it took a little bit too much off the top.
A little bit.
But it's a fairly good haircut that they put on it. That's what I was thinking, like could this be a real person or a fake?
I'm thinking it may be a toupee.
Yeah.
Or a rug or something like that. Because, you definitely have hairstylists for those kind of things as well, too. And I'm pretty sure because this is going to be like a principal like prop that's going to get a lot of screen time or at least close-up screen time. Again, movies by minute people, hire them because we'll notice this kind of stuff. This is good movies by minute, what is it? Future proofing.
Yeah.
It looks good. This person looks real until it looks in the head. Even still, when you look in his head, it kind of looks real just because of the hair.
Yeah, but that's why, I was wondering, could they have green screened a portion of it?
I don't know if they green screened it just because, there's still depth in there. You can see, I'm moving a little bit ahead.
You can do that with a green screen, though.
Now?
Yeah.
In 97, 96? Probably not.
Okay, so yeah, probably definitely a mannequin then. But
and also, this movie is besides, the horde of like bugs that are coming up or like spaceship stuff, everything was practical. So I'm pretty sure this was just a mannequin head.
Okay, so maybe the bone structure around there is probably just styrofoam then.
Yeah.
All right, I can dig with that.
It's good.
Yeah.
This looks good. It doesn't, I don't want it to happen to me or anything, but it looks gross and real.
I like this. I also like the jacket that he's wearing.
Yeah, right?
You don't get to see it until now, but having the zippers on the arms so then it's a fitted jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and it zips all the way up to Raschek's wrist as well too. You can see his metal hand hanging out over there as well too. So everything's just zipped up. I love this jacket. It looks like the outer material of like a windbreaker or something.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I like the idea of putting the zipper so then it fits right, so you don't struggle with getting your hand through it, but you just zip it up and it gives you a tight fit.
And also, you can take them off for easy. It reminds me of those pants that you could take off the bottom parts of and make them into khaki shorts.
Yeah.
I had a pair of those.
I
didn't like them.
So this scene's... Alright. So we're pretty much done with this scene at this point.
Yeah. This is the final part of the minute.
Yeah. So, you have anything you'd like to add to this minute?
No, I'm good, actually.
Alright. So where can they find you, Matt?
You guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere on the internet. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Been streaming a lot of Elite Dangerous. Just got a brand new ship, and it is a fast little sucker, and I love it. Come watch me. I'll fly for you.
And
what about you?
You guys can find me on Twitch and Instagram at JDASHD26. You can also find me on Twitter at OMG It's Johann. I've been streaming Monster Hunter World. They're about to release the Ryu skin, so I'm kind of excited for that. And they just released the quest for the Kirin armor. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a unicorn with kind of a lion face. It's kind of badass. So you guys can also follow us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, any other app that you use to download any of your podcasts, like Podcast Addict. Please like and subscribe our show. We would really appreciate it. Please put a review if you can. You can visit our website at theroughneckminute.podbean.com for show notes and back episodes. You can also follow us on Twitter at roughneckmin, that's M-I-N. And if you'd like to continue conversation with Holes in the Head, like music-wise, please don't tell us if you have a personal story. I hope you guys don't have a personal story. You can continue that conversation on our Facebook group, the Roughneck Minute Billet. I've been your host.
Personally, I have a dent in my head, and I also am a little bit insane in the membrane.
Yeah, I know I have a dent on my forehead, but I've also had 3 concussions in my life.
Yeah. Head injuries.
Yep, one of them was in high school. They all thought it was funny because this was back then before like any CTE research or anything like that. So the other 2 are from hockey. Well, no, one of them's from hockey, the other one's from work. So
I let anyone who wants to feel my dent feel it.
Yeah.
You want to feel it? Yeah, you felt it.
No, I have not. You've told me about it. No.
Do you want to feel it? Do you want to feel my dent?
No, I do not.
It's pretty, boss.
Nah, that's okay. I think I'll pass on that. A pretty hard pass, actually.
All right.
So I've been your host, Johann.
And I've been your host, Matthew.
And we'll see you on the bounce, troopers.